As I said in the beginning of these videos, mostly I was going to go over history and talk about our background and our foundings, and I've wandered a bit here and there. But one of the things I wanted to touch on quickly today, because I see more and more of it every day, and that's the destruction of our young. And I'm not just talking about children in wombs, I'm talking about what's happening to our children as they grow up. And it's been a known fact for a long time that when children are very young, they're like sponges. They soak up a lot. And how they're treated and how they perceive the world starts before they're 6 years old. And there's a lot of selfishness in our society now. And I guess always has been in any society, but we do mistreat children in many ways. And I'm fortunate, I guess, not I guess, I know, in that my children and grandchildren appear to be fine. And where we live, the schools are not on a mission to destroy kids. And this thing about making one group oppressors and another group victims doesn't do either one of them any good, and it does all kinds of damage growing up. So I guess what I wanted to briefly touch on was that, and that we are not doing, as a society, I know individuals are doing good, but overall, and we're not doing well by our children. We're either teaching them that there are no consequences for any actions, or they're evil, or they're a victim and they're not responsible for anything in their life. And either way, you end up in a bad place. So, a lot of our popular culture encourages perversity. There's no other way to say it. And right now, many states have passed quote unquote medical marijuana laws. Well, and I know it's an old joke with a lot of people that, that's the gateway to harder drugs. Well, I can't speak to that. I was around when marijuana started becoming used a lot. And I've seen people, and I understand it's much stronger now than it was then, but I've seen people get totally useless, and their functions, they do not function as well. Some people say they do. I don't know. But any drug, booze, marijuana, and then higher drugs is going to affect your senses. But we're encouraging our children to partake in that by our actions. And we're encouraging our children to hate who they are, which in turn means they're going to hate the country. And we're even teaching them to hate the country. And if you have no allegiance to your society or to your country, there's not going to be a country very long. And I know there are people that want that, but I don't think they're going to like the result of not having this protection that this society provides. So, one more thing. I'll look in the news and I'll see a picture of a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old child who's been killed by their parents. Or one the other day of a little boy, I think he was 7, who was tortured to death by his parents. And that just says a lot about us. And I know that's an individual that did that, and you always have the odd person out. But we're encouraging people not to love their children, not to care for their children. And their children are going to grow up monsters. And that child, there was a girl I saw the other day, they've been looking for her. She disappeared almost 2 years ago. She was a 5-year-old. And now they've got the father, and they're looking at him. But I mean, it's been almost 2 years in this, and she looked like a nice child. They all are at that age, you know. So the thing is we are not doing very well. Some of us are, and that's to be commended. But our school systems are pounding children. I mean, it's okay to criticize, excuse me, in a constructive way, but to tell them that they're evil or that they're victims and nothing they do in their life is going to do any good because they're victims and they can't help themselves, or they're evil and they don't deserve what they have or what they achieve. You know, so anyway, this is just my opinion, but it's just from what an old guy sees. And I only know, like Will Rogers, and he was, a lot of you probably don't know who he was, but he was a very wise, funny man. But you only know what you read in the papers and now in the news or in the internet. And there are a lot of people not doing very well in presenting the news. But anyway, y'all have a good